Believe me, you will fall, Exile.
This battle is ours.
I have seen how this ends, Taljari. Your time has come.
It's about time.
The sands of time wait for no one. You may have delayed your destiny. The hour grows near. The sands shift, Taljari.
Focus at home.
Nightmare. We that are one. His message burns. We that fade.
Yo, what's up, guys? So, over the past few days, I ended up selling all of my Deadeye gear, and I ended up buying gear for a new build, and I decided to go with the Gemling stat stacker. I was getting a little bored of the Deadeye just because I've played it since launch, and I've been playing it since, like, Path of Exile 1, I was playing Deadeye, so I kind of wanted to try something new. And I chose to play this, which is the Gemling stat stacker. As you can see, level 94, I have 500 strength, 943 dex, 700 int. And I chose to go more dex than int and strength because I wanted to be faster for mapping. And I still feel like the boss damage is plenty. Like, I've done the Uber trial boss, I've done tier 4 arbiter, I've done the tier 4 breach boss, I've done a wave 15 simulacrum. Like, and it's all been pretty easy. Like, I haven't really struggled at all. I feel like this is probably one of the strongest builds that I've played in, like, all of PoE. Like, I haven't played the Auto Bomber yet, which I heard is, like, even stronger than this, but, like, this build reminds me of the PoE 1, like, Aura Stackers. Like, I feel like it just has everything. The damage is insane, like, the clear speed's really good, and it's, like, super tanky. I got to level 94 in 2 days, and as you can see, I only have 8 deaths. And one of them was to, like, the bug in the trial where you kill the boss too fast, like it just insta-kills you, and then I think like 5 or 6 of them were from the campaign. Like, I don't think I've died in mapping like once. The build is pretty expensive, so I can kind of go over the gear. We're using the Pillar of the Cage God. I have the 8% attack speed implicit, and this is the one that I use for mapping. And it's linked to my Herald of Ice, Herald of Thunder. And then when I weapon swap, I have the Penetrate, the elemental resistances, with 12% weapon damage. And that is linked to my Cast on Shock. So I basically just bar swap and then change my gems for bosses. We're using a 30 Spirit Ziri's Disdain. And I kind of chose to do this because of Fubgun's Guide. And like, I feel like this build does not need any more damage at all. Like, it's pretty ridiculous. And, yeah, so I chose to go with Ziri's instead of the Winged Sun. We are using an Astramentis. I don't feel like this is really needed, but I just bought it just because I had the currency to. But I think you can get away with just like any rare amulet with, you know, attributes on it. And we are using the Warrior Invictus with attributes and elemental resistances with the 5 sockets. And I bought this because I am using Adorn, so I wanted the resistances from this, so I didn't have to use the Grand Spectrum jewels. And this chest was like actually a pain in the ass to buy. I think I whispered like 12 or 13 different people, and it was just all people trying to scam. Like, they would try to put a, like, just a random Invictus in the screen with like different attributes. It was pretty annoying. Both of the rings, I have one with fire damage and I have one with cold damage. That way it procs all 3 of the elements from my Tempest Bell. They have dual stats and rarity. I did choose to go rarity on this build. I don't really like playing with no rarity. It just makes it like a little less fun for me. I am at 183%. You could definitely go higher than this. But the rings that I got, they were like pretty cheap. I think they were like 30 divines each. Like ones for like 40 and 50 rarity were definitely in the 100 divines a piece. So I got these ones, which they're not bad. And my Hand of Wisdoms, I got 1 to 12 lightning damage to attacks. I wish it had the 4% attack speed, but again, those are insanely expensive, and my build's like pretty fast already. I do have an Ingenuity, it's only 78%. I'll probably end up divining it and trying to hit 80, and then probably corrupting it. And now one thing that I wish I did differently, which I'll probably change, but I just haven't wanted to mess with my resistances yet, is on my boots, I don't have movement speed. And I kind of bought all this before I was mapping, and like, see, you can get like stuck on literally everything, and then you gotta walk to like get off of it. And that's one thing that I hate, was getting stuck, and having no movement speed on your boots is like kind of annoying for moving off of stuff. And another thing that felt clunky was if you don't check this, the always attack without moving on your Tempest Flurry, I feel like you like kind of just stop attacking. I didn't really know that the first day, so I was like getting kind of frustrated with it, and I was debating going back to my Deadeye, but once I fixed that, the build felt like a little less clunky, but it's still annoying on some maps because you get stuck on like trees and like just random stuff that's on the floor. So if you do play this build, like, it's not really needed for movement speed on boots, but I would definitely recommend it for, you know, some of those other maps that get kind of annoying when you get stuck on everything. And I am playing Mind Over Matter, so the Melting Maelstrom helps with like your mana sustain and your life as well. I have the Olros Flask, but I don't think I've even used it one time. Like, I feel like you just stay at full health on this build. And then we can check out the jewels. I kind of have like just like a basic tree, I guess. Just taking all the nodes. And if you are playing this build, obviously you can change the attributes to fit whatever you want, like whatever your playstyle is going to be. And all of my jewels are magical corrupted. I have one mana on kill with energy shield, and then I have a lightning pen with a crit chance, just for like when you do the monsters have elemental resist maps. But pretty much all of my jewels are just like maximum ES, and then these two with the mana on kill, lightning pen, and then the other ones are crit chance and crit damage. I think I kind of need to change my jewels up a little bit, because I want to aim for like 30 to 35 crit chance and at least like 400 crit damage. So I'll have to get some better jewels soon. They're just like kind of hard to find with implicits. And I did have to get a bunch of resistances on mine to like cap out the resist. Then it's just kind of like a basic tree. All the jewels are pretty much the same. And I am using an Adorn. I have an 87%. You know, I think like at least an 80% is good on the stat stacker. Another corrupted jewel. Then I have the From Nothing with Resonance. This jewel's expensive. It was like 200 divines, but definitely worth it. You get like so many of these extra stat points, and you save so many points. And I do have a Resonance, but like my build does so much damage, I really don't even need to use Charged Staff. So I could take this point off and then put it in something else. Like, I don't even have to use Charged Staff against like any of the Uber bosses or the Pinnacle bosses or anything like that. There's some more corrupted jewels. Then I do have a Megalomaniac with Martial Artistry. The Smooth Buckler one is like a pretty useless stat. Like, it literally does nothing for me. It's really hard to find one that's like two useful stats, so I just kind of bought the cheapest one on there for now, just so I could have one. And the reason I got the Martial Artistry is so I can save 4 points right here, so I don't have to get these, and then I just put that point there. And then it helps me kind of like path over here, another corrupted jewel, mind over matter. And then I still need a couple more levels, but eventually I want to get this jewel socket. And then if I get level 100, I guess I'll take this jewel socket. But I think if I get one more level, I will take this one off, and then I'll come over here, and then maybe take this one off. That way I can get an additional jewel socket, and then if I level up again, then I'll just put this one back. That's pretty much it for the tree. It's pretty basic. I don't think really, like, if you do want to play a build like this, I don't think any of these jewels are really needed. I think the Against the Darkness is pretty much like mandatory, because I mean that's just free 8% attributes, and I think Dex Int is the best, and then I think Int Strength would be like second best. Just depends on like if you want to go fast or if you want to have more single target damage. But I think this one is probably the only mandatory jewel, and then obviously if you're not playing Adorned, you would just use rare jewels with like double crit ES. And I think getting a mana on kill jewel, like you definitely need that. You don't necessarily need a lightning pin, but it just helps for when you do the elemental resist maps. But at least one mana on kill is like kind of needed to help you sustain. And that's pretty much it. Here's the Ascendancy nodes. I don't think it really matters what order you take it in, but I got adaptive capability, enhanced effectiveness, crystalline potential, and then we have advanced thaumaturge. And then we go over the gem links. We're using Tempest Flurry with Martial Tempo, Rage, Inspiration, Crescendo, and Bullseye. And if you do have a 100% Adorned, you can take the Rage support gem off, and then you can use a gain 2 Rage on hit jewel. That would only be if you have 100% Adorned, which I don't have. And then Cast on Shock, I turn this on when I weapon swap for bosses. It has Eye of Winter, Impetuous, Energy Retention, and for bosses, I'll put Inspiration on my Cast on Shock, and then I'll put my Ice Bite on my Tempest Flurry, and then when I weapon swap, it automatically turns on Cast on Shock. And then my Herald of Thunder for mapping, it has Ice Bite, Cold Infusion, Glaciation, Ambush, and Cold Pen. My Herald of Ice has Overcharge, Conduction, Magnified Effect, Innervate, and Shock Siphon. This like keeps your energy shield at 100%, even on those annoying like Burning Ground maps and everything like that. I do have Combat Frenzy. It's supposed to turn on when I weapon swap. And I will put Precision there, and that's only on like some pinnacle bosses. That way I can actually use my charge staff. But like I said, I really haven't even had to use it one time, so it's just kind of there right now. And then my Wind Dancer has Blind and Precision, and then Tempest Bell. It has Conk Effect, Close Combat, Lightning Pin, Overabundance, and Primal Armament. And then Charge Staff. Once again, I don't really use this, but if your damage is a little bit lower and you're kind of struggling for damage and like clearing maps, this is like a really good skill to have. And I have Persistence, Lightning Exposure, Cold Exposure, and Strip Away. And then I do have Grim Feast. And you can see in my hideout I have 5.1k ES and 3.4k health. And when I'm mapping with the Grim Feast, it goes up to like a 10k shield. So I basically have a 10k shield, 3500 life, and 3600 mana. So like I'm pretty tanky. I don't even, like I've never even been close to dying in a map. Like this build is like pretty busted. And there's plenty of like guides on YouTube and like max roll and stuff like that of like budget builds that are pretty much doing everything in like 20 divines. And like the videos are a bit old, so like the prices will obviously be a little bit different. Like a couple of them were budget builds that are using the From Nothing, and this thing is 200 divines. But like the damage is so high, like I don't even really think you need this stuff. Like I said, I just kind of had it because I had the currency to buy it. yeah, like there's plenty of budget like options for everything. So if you guys have any questions about anything on the build, or if you're like playing the build and you're struggling with something, you can feel free to ask in the comments, and join my Discord if you have questions. I'm always down to help people. All right, peace.